Hi everybody, my name is Amanda Radke and welcome to Radke's Reading Corner, the place where we share agricultural books that celebrate farmers, ranchers, and the Western way of life. And most importantly, where we celebrate the amazing men and women who provide us with the food, fiber, and energy for the rest of us to enjoy. Now, I've been writing children's books for 10 years now alongside my fellow ranch mom and illustrator, Michelle Weber. And I want to share with you a little bit about our previous titles. So in 2011, we wrote Levi's Lost Calf that came out, celebrates fall roundup on the ranch and really encourages kids to problem solve and think deeply and critically to take care of a situation, i.e. a lost calf on the ranch. The next book that we wrote together was titled Can Do Cow Kids. This story was done alongside the Georgia Beef Board, and it talks about the amazing careers that are available for young people in addition to farming and ranching. So they might learn about being a veterinarian, an agronomist, a nutritionist, you name it. It is in this book, and it inspires young people to consider careers in production agriculture and food, science, and technology. And the next book that we had came out was titled A Home Run for Peanuts. This was done by the Georgia Beef Board because when the peanut farmers heard that we wrote a book about the cowboys down in Georgia, they said, we want in too. And so Michelle and I got to research peanut farming and got to learn all about how peanuts are grown on Georgia farms. And we got to create a really fun story that celebrated exactly that. So that's how A Home Run for Peanuts was born. The next book we did is titled The Soil Quilt. The Soil Quilt was done with the South Dakota Soil Health Coalition. This story talks about the 5 principles of soil health and shows kids the ways that farmers and ranchers manage the land, preserve natural resources, and produce food while taking care of our land, our water, and our air. Then our last book that came out is titled Beef Strong. This book was done in partnership with the South Dakota Beef Industry Council. It is a sports nutrition book that highlights student athletes and the ways that they can be strong and healthy and fit while also enjoying animal fats and proteins like beef. And so that was a really fun story. Now, the reason I'm making this video today is to announce my latest book with Michelle Weber. It is a book that is really exciting. It's newly released, so never before seen, and I'm officially proud after a long year of working to announce the launch of our new children's book, C is for Care. This book was done in partnership with Zoetis, and this book highlights that amazing bond that we have with our animals. So within the pages of the book, you're going to see, kids bonding with a calf in the barn. You're going to see a wobbly calf taking its first steps. You're going to see that caring, loving hand that does the work on our farms and ranches. You're going to see another cute little kid. We're going to celebrate beef, and we're going to celebrate dairy. And as we go through the alphabet, kids are going to learn about all that it takes to make sure cattle are healthy, happy, and strong so that we can ultimately provide beef and dairy for families to enjoy. So this is a very favorite illustration that Michelle did of that woman and the dog. Another one that's really fun is the M page. M is for manure. This is my son on the book, and he was throwing some sawdust and some manure on that fork, and so we have a little fun in the middle of the story. We see dairy cattle on a dairy farm, and what's really cool about this story is that Zoetis' customers actually provided a lot of the photographs to be inspiration for this book. And so from coast to coast, we drew a lot of inspiration from family farms and ranches to create this storyline. And I think it really came together beautifully in being able to capture that feel of bonding with our animals and caring for our animals. And of course, we have dogs, we have horses along the way. We have veterinarians that make an appearance, and probably my favorite illustration in the book, and it's a personal reason, but is this last one on the Z is for Zoetis page. You see, when we started this book project, it was at the same time that my husband and I had welcomed in a new child from foster care into our home. And we knew that we would be adopting this little boy. And so when we were talking about doing this book with Zoetis, Michelle and I were on the phone super excited. And I said, I know you're really pumped about the book, but I have to tell you news that I haven't shared with anybody yet. And I showed her the picture of Alex and said, we're going to adopt him. He's going to be our son. And so when I finally saw the illustrations, I was just shocked to tears when Michelle surprised me with this illustration of Alexander and I in the back of the book. So what a special moment for a mom, and I hope it translates well in the illustrations. But what's really cool about this book is it is geared for younger kids. It is an A to Z book, an alphabet book. It's a short and simple rhyme, so super easy to read to little ones, to take into classrooms for preschool or daycare or kindergarten classes. And the really cool thing about this is if you go check out Zoetis on their Born of the Bond page, they have activities to go with the story. So kids can make a cow headband, they can do a coloring page, and all of that information is at the back of the book to kind of guide you with what those activities look like and how you can get the sheets to download to take part in those activities. And so I really am just so excited to finally share this with you guys. I think it's just a beautiful and gorgeous book. And you know, so often farmers and ranchers are accused of not taking care of their animals, of animal abuse and terrible things. And I really want to flip that narrative on its head, because at the end of the day, we're in the cattle business and the dairy business because we love those animals, and it takes a great deal of time and effort and tender loving care to make sure that their needs are met. And so I hope that we've captured this in the story. I'd like to invite you to check out the book. Follow Zoetis' social media page. They're going to be sharing tons of information about this story, but you can also check out the book at amandaradke.com, at michelleweberstudio.com, and at Amazon, where all books are sold. If you are a retailer and are looking into purchasing wholesale copies, you can reach out to me and I would love to hook you up with a bulk order. But most importantly, I just can't wait to get this in the hands of kids. I'm going to be taking this across the country this summer and all through May Beef Month to try to share this story with young people. And I hope they fall in love with farming and ranching and beef and dairy cattle as much as I do. And I really just am so passionate about this story because it is truly one of a kind and one of those books that I think will plant those seeds and show kids across this country who we really are. So thank you for your interest in my stories. I really appreciate the support. One of my favorite things is hearing from families or schools saying, Amanda, we loved the book and our whole class enjoyed it, or it's our favorite story time read. So if you're reading any of my stories and you want to tag me in some pictures on social media, I would love to see these books in action and try to track how far and wide these stories go. So that's a wrap for the first episode of Amanda Radke's Reading Corner. I hope you'll join me again on the road as I take these books into elementary schools, libraries, and to share with other parents so that together we can teach American kids about where their food comes from and celebrate the men and women and their kids across the country who make it all possible.